My pregnancy with Noah was pretty routine up until 36 weeks. And during what was supposed to be a routine sonogram, they had picked up something abnormal. And he said, we don't know right now. He has what we think is uterine growth restriction, and I would feel better sending you to the best perinatologist in Dallas within the hour.
So we were pretty nervous and really unsure of what was going on, and we had never heard this term before. We didn't know what that meant.
The perinatologist said, I think he's just very small. I think it's genetic. I think everything's gonna be okay. So we carried him all the way to 38 weeks.
It was gonna be a normal C-section. And then, yeah, all of a sudden, you know, the people that were in the room, just their demeanor changed.
We started losing him. His heart rate went down.
We were very, very scared. Things just weren't right.
And so they were like, we have to get her in there right away. And so they pulled him out, and we had a team of about 20 people in the room just waiting to make sure everything was okay. He was really small, but they pulled him out, and he was crying, and he looked great, and they just put him in the warmer. And from there, we were just like, everything is great. We're all gonna be good.
Okay, I guess we were through this, and we made it. Everything did look normal, and we had no indications of anything that was really wrong with him.
We left the hospital within 4 days, and we took him home, and everything seemed fine. But within, I would say maybe a week of that time, things really started to go bad. He was vomiting profusely the second he would finish eating.
Constant issues and struggles with him trying to keep food down and keep him growing like the way he should have been.
We saw a bunch of different specialists in different fields, and at that point, they were starting to kind of talk about he might have to have a feeding tube because he just could not sustain any type of normal weight because of the screaming, the vomiting. They thought that he had a brain injury.
You know, as a parent, when you hear the word brain damage, you think lots of really awful things about, you know, what is this gonna mean for my child going forward? We thought the worst. My child is gonna be, he's not gonna be able to function like a normal person is, you know, on a day-to-day basis, and he's not gonna be able to learn and grow and do all those things.
Right around that time, around 6 months old, we realized we had somehow missed that our son's left side was not functioning at all. He could not move it. He was doing everything with his right hand. I was barely getting through the day. I wasn't sleeping. Noah was shrieking. I prayed probably every 5 minutes every day. And usually it was just like a flash prayer, and I would just send it up and say, just get me through this, God. Just get me through the day. Get me through the next 5 minutes. Get me through the next 10 minutes. Just help me get through it. We waited a long time to be able to see a neurologist because we were on just a huge waiting list with so many other people. Dr. Z came in and looked at Noah for a few minutes and asked us to sit down, and we sat down together. He said, I am absolutely certain that your son has had a stroke. And then in the next 5 minutes, it was his entire prognosis for his whole life. Profound learning disabilities, may or may not walk, will need a feeding tube for life, will never be normal. He said, we need to get you in to have an MRI right away because we really need to get in and see what's going on with his brain. If there's a brain bleed, the damage is done, and we're just going in to see where it is. We're not going to fix it. That was the most devastating probably day of my entire life. We were on a bunch of prayer groups, and we had friends and family praying. We had a blog at one point, and people all around the nation were praying for Noah. You know, we would get phone calls and emails from people we didn't even know across the country just saying, we've got you in prayer. When Pastor Goff was able to come out here and anoint Noah with the oil, and he said, God is gonna heal your son. It's either gonna be in heaven or it's gonna be here on earth. Lots of friends and family ask us that week, are you prepared for what's coming from the MRI? And I would tell them no. I'm not prepared for that at all. In fact, I think God is going to heal Noah's brain. I just believe that. I absolutely believe with every core of my being that that's what's going to happen. We took him to the MRI. That was just a really difficult day.
We were fully expecting that we were going to hear some really bad news, and that was going to set us up for, you know, a life and a future of difficult times.
Monday morning, my phone rang, and I saw that it was from Children's Dallas, and I was like, oh, my heart just sank. She just said, I don't know how to explain this to you to where it's gonna make sense, because it doesn't make sense to us. But I just wanna let you know your son's MRI came back normal. He's still not able to move well, he's not able to eat well. He's doing better because he's in therapy and he's making slow progress. And she said, well, you got a normal MRI. You'll have to come back in and follow up with Dr. Z, but for now, it's good news. My mom just looked at me and gave me a hug. It was like, you got your miracle. From then on, I I really felt like in my heart things were going to be okay. He was not able to use this left side in the beginning, but within 3 to 4 months of occupational therapy and physical therapy, he was actually able to use it quite well. And then when he was about 13 months old, he was cruising a little bit and he just got up and went. He just got up and literally just like walked. And then within a week of that, he was just like running and tearing around the house and chasing Avery, and we just couldn't believe it.
If you didn't know his backstory, you would never know that he went through all those things and that he had those struggles and he had a stroke and he could never keep food down. He's the greatest, boy ever. He's amazing. And I do thank God every day for him.
Noah's healing didn't happen overnight. And every time we had an issue with Noah, we went to God and we prayed about that. And there were times I was angry and there were times that I didn't always want to pray, because I wondered in the midst of the darkness, where was God? Was he really there? And it was a struggle, but when I was not praying, I knew that other people were holding us in prayer.
God has a plan, and always believe and always trust in God, because he will get you through anything.